Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh, has lived a life that challenges the conventional royal path. Born on March 10, 1964, he's the youngest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. While his siblings were all preparing for high-profile roles in the royal family, Edward was exploring his own interests outside the royal duties. He spent 1 year training with the Royal Marines before stepping away to pursue a career in television production. This wasn't your typical royal career choice. Yet, despite these early career missteps, Edward ended up reshaping his own destiny. But how did he go from being a royal spare to one of the most respected figures in the royal family? Let's dive into the life of Prince Edward and uncover just how insane his journey has been. Prince Edward's early years were shaped by the royal spotlight. As the youngest child of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, he wasn't expected to carry the same heavy burden as his older siblings. However, that didn't mean he was free from the intense pressure of royal life. Edward attended Gordonstoun School, a tough institution in Scotland that was also attended by his father and grandfather. Known for its demanding discipline, it helped shape Edward into a leader, as he served as head boy during his time there. After Gordonstoun, he went on to study at Jesus College, Cambridge, where he earned a degree in history. However, despite being well-educated and groomed for a life in the royal family, Edward wasn't certain about his future. His path wasn't laid out in the same way it was for his siblings. Unlike Prince Charles, who was prepared for the throne, or Princess Anne, who became involved in various royal organizations, Edward was still figuring things out. Now, let's get into some of the less talked about chapters of his life. Prince Edward didn't jump straight into royal duties. In fact, he initially tried to follow a more normal career. He started with the Royal Marines, aiming to join one of the most elite military forces in the world. But after just 1 year of training, he realized it wasn't for him. It's easy to assume that Edward, being royal, would always have a cushy traditional path, but that wasn't the case. He tried his hand at television production instead, something that definitely raised a few eyebrows. Edward founded Ardent Productions, a company that produced some rather unusual television content. One of the most famous shows it produced was It's a Royal Knockout, a quirky, bizarre competition involving royals. Yes, you heard that right, royals in wacky games and challenges. It wasn't exactly the stuff of regal tradition, but it was a huge hit at the time and made Edward a bit of a royal rebel. Can you imagine the scrutiny he faced? The youngest prince of the royal family, stepping away from tradition to make reality TV? Sounds like something straight out of a movie, doesn't it? As you can probably guess, working in TV didn't exactly align with Edward's royal duties. In 2002, Edward made a major decision. He left the production world behind. His royal obligations were calling, and it was time to step up. But it wasn't an easy transition. Giving up a career to follow your family's expectations takes guts, especially when your life has already been unconventional. But Edward did just that. When he finally embraced his royal duties, he started working tirelessly for charities. He took up a variety of causes, from supporting the arts to youth development, and in doing so, he began to prove that he wasn't just another royal living in the shadows of his older siblings. He made his own mark, serving on the boards of over 70 organizations and raising awareness about issues that mattered to him. But here's the twist. Edward wasn't the loudest royal in the room, and that was part of his charm. While others chased attention, he kept his focus on making a difference, working in the background. His ability to stay out of the media spotlight but still make a massive impact? Insane, right? Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Prince Edward didn't just step into the royal role of helping charities, he actually stepped into his father's massive legacy. In 2015, Edward took over the Duke of Edinburgh's award, an initiative founded by Prince Philip to empower young people around the world through outdoor challenges and personal development, thanks to his involvement. Under Edward's leadership, the program expanded globally. He didn't just inherit his father's title, he helped it evolve into something bigger. He became the face of youth empowerment, working behind the scenes to make sure the Duke of Edinburgh's award stayed relevant and influential. And trust me, when it comes to royal legacies, that's a huge responsibility. Prince Edward didn't exactly take the typical route to marriage. In 1999, he married Sophie Rhys-Jones, a commoner who later became the Countess of Wessex. The couple has 2 children, Lady Louise Mountbatten-Windsor and James, Viscount Severn. Their relationship, a modern royal marriage, has been one of quiet strength. Unlike many royal marriages that were driven by duty or public expectations, Edward and Sophie built their union on love and mutual respect. Their family life is grounded, away from the usual royal drama. Following the passing of his father, Prince Philip, Edward officially inherited the Duke of Edinburgh title. This was a long-awaited moment, as Edward had always been seen as the natural heir to this title. But it wasn't just about the title, it was about the legacy, the responsibility, and the continued service to the British people. What's fascinating is how Edward has embraced this new role. While other royals may have focused on public appearances or controversies, Edward took on the role with dignity and resolve. He showed the world that it's not about the title, it's about how you use it to make a real difference. What does this say about him? Maybe it's a sign that he's ready to step out of the shadows of his older siblings and take on even more significant responsibilities. While Prince William and Prince Harry have their own high-profile paths, Edward has worked behind the scenes, making sure the royal family continues to function. Isn't it crazy how someone can be in the royal spotlight but stay so grounded? Prince Edward's life is anything but ordinary. His quiet dedication to charity, his commitment to continuing his father's legacy, and his focus on family show that there's more than one way to serve your country. Does Edward's journey challenge your idea of what a royal life should be? Maybe it's time to rethink what it means to be a part of the royal family. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to comment below. Tell us what you think about Prince Edward's life. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so you never miss an exciting story like this.